Book.
StreamYard.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
You really adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Bazinga.
Two in the box. Ready to go. We be fast. They be slow.
Cool.
All right, and we're recording. Welcome to the Mt.Geekmore podcast, your favorite podcast where you come to listen to people talk, debate, and argue over the top 4 Mount Rushmore, if you will, of their favorite pop culture subjects. Today's pop culture subject, as you can tell by looking at your listening device, is the Mount Rushmore of movie car chases or cinematic car chases, however you want to say it. I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, is David.
Howdy.
And then we have we have 2 special guests today. We have from Woobro's own Mike Mercadal.
Hello, that's me.
And then we also have from previous episodes of Mt.Geekmore. I believe the last one he did was a food that had been retired or discontinued food items.
That's good.
Please welcome Luis Diaz to the show.
So let me get this straight. You have the programmed in there, but you don't have the numbers 3 or 4 programmed in there?
False, madam. That is false. I have that's like 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
3 and 4 already. Like that was just a problem we had the first couple of times we went live. So.
Okay.
Whatever.
Continue.
Welcome. Share us on your Facebook, guys. If you guys see us here on your Facebook,
I did, yeah.
Done.
Anyways, all right. So thank you guys for checking us out. If you're listening to the audio version of this, make sure to go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page. Either one is Mt.Geekmore, and then follow us live. And then once the comments start rolling in, you could, once the show starts, you could, comment and be part of the show live. So thank you guys for checking that out, man.
We encourage your comments.
Yes, we do. We encourage you to tell you how much you disagree with our picks.
Yes.
With that said, I will go around the horn and ask you guys how you guys came up with your selections. So, David, how did you come up with your selection?
So basically, I just went like off the dome for this. I just said, okay, what are my favorite ones? These are the ones that I remember most. These are the ones that left lasting impressions on me. However, I did remove any movie that was essentially an extended car chase. So movies like Mad Max Fury Road, Cannonball Run, Duel, Death Race 2000, Death Proof. These are amazing movies that I absolutely love with really great car chases. But the whole movie is essentially a car chase. So I felt it was not really a fair comparison to judge an entire movie, next to one scene or 2 scenes or something like that. So yeah, it had to be like a single scene.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mike, how did you make your selections? Were there any caveats, any rules, any self-limitation things?
I too went off the dome. Multiple domes. I had. So the idea was like again, like is the car chase what we're talking about, or is it the movie that has the car chase in it as a whole? Does it have to be good? So I kind of struggled with picking movies that I think are good or even movies that are bad, but there's like a good car chase in it. So I bounced a couple of ideas, like those movies, and then I just kind of settled on they may not be like historically thought of as good car chases. Like they're like there's certain iconic ones. but those aren't the ones that I care about. So I just picked the ones that like are movies that I could watch over and over and over again, and that I get excited every time I see it. That was a big one. Where it's like every time you watch it, you get that like, oh, that reaction to something cool happening. But other than that, it was just like the vibe.
Okay. Lou, how did you make your selection?
I went off the top of my head. I didn't necessarily go off the top of the dome like the other two guys in this podcast, but I did go off the top of my head. I did give myself one limitation, because if it wasn't for this limitation, my entire list would be Fast and Furious movie. The greatest franchise. Star Wars is second place, maybe Indiana Jones third. First place, of course, Fast and Furious. So I only have one Fast and Furious chase. The rest are just all timers.
Oh, okay.
But again, off the top of my head, I didn't do much research. So
it was there were too many to choose from. Honestly, there was just so many cool car chases that you have to like we were joking around before we started streaming that I could have done a whole Nick Cage mountain.
Yes.
Like just because he's got a bunch of cool movies with a bunch of cool car chases in his movies, and it could have just been all of that. So
National Treasure 2.
Drive Angry. Yeah, listen, man. I'm the opposite. Usually I'm the one that goes off the dome, off the top of my head, if you will. But I actually did research. Granted, it was only for like an hour and a half. So divide that by 5 minutes. I don't know, because that's how long each car chase usually is in a movie. But I actually did research, and I actually looked at car chase movies, and I would like to refresh my memory. And I was like, that's cool. That was cool. That was all right. I will say, however, I went very. I did not want to go with movies that were that the movie itself was about cars. So I didn't want to do Fast and the Furious movies. I didn't want to do, well, first of all, those movies are garbage, but that's besides the point.
Absolute
out, guys.
I thought some of us were taking this list seriously, and then Lewis comes in here with this Fast and Furious bullshit.
But here's the thing:
this show takes things seriously. What are you talking about?
But even
what is happening now?
So even if we got a comment. Oh, what up, John? Rush, John. Bad Boys
have a good
scene. Bad Boys. John Reed.
It is a good pick.
Just John says Bad Boys 1 is his recommendation. It's his pick. That's a great scene with the Porsche. Oh yeah, that's a fucking dope one. Andrew Chacon said Dave's about to blow a gasket. No pun intended. Which is
this was actually Andy suggested this to me at work. I don't know if it was this week or last week. So thanks for the suggestion.
Oh yeah, this
is a great topic.
Is a listener pick. Is a listener suggestion. And then so I didn't want to choose movies that were like car related, like The Getaway or the fucking Fast and Furious. Like if the whole movie's based upon cars, I felt like, yeah, okay, they're supposed to have great car chase scenes. Not, which again is just my rule, just to be able to make it easier for me. And I did pick a scene that we'll talk about it later. I don't know if it's allowable, but the phrase car chases.
Oh man, look, if it's a vehicle chase, I think it counts. Car is interchangeable with motorcycle, speeder bike, whatever you. If anyone, Return of the Jedi here,
Underlips boats.
Well, this is a good question. I feel like I should ask, because this affected my picks, because is it a car chase? Like, because a good car chase is a good car chase, but sometimes they have car chases that are really just fight scenes where the setting is a car chase. So it's like gunfighting and like people fighting on the cars or going back and forth.
I think we all know we're all referencing the submarine from Fate of the Furious.
Yes, that's exactly right. But I'm talking about good things that have like a good fight on the vehicles themselves, but the car chase itself is not the like marquee event. You know what I mean?
I think it still counts as a car chase, and it's up to you to decide whether.
What I don't think should count are boat chases. And I don't think that Star Wars, like when you're looking at fight, like that's a
fight. Wait, you're saying no boat chase, like no boat chase from Casino Royale, none of that?
I don't think that's a car. That like
I mean, Casino
there's a
Royale has
helicopter.
a legitimate car chase. Why would you go with a boat chase? And
I
I'm
just
with
think
you,
it's
Neri,
slippery
about like
slope.
planes. Planes, I think, is like
I
a
just think
different.
it's a slippery slope, man. I think it's a slippery slope. We start getting into that thing where it's like, well, planes are okay, then my spaceship should be okay, and then like,
Right.
oh, well, that's a
Oh no,
whole.
I don't think planes. How about this? If it's got wheels, and I know planes have wheels, but they're supposed to fucking fly, right? So if it's
A car has to chase or be chased. Because you could have what's that one with the but there's like, you know, like where there's like in the Mission Impossible shit where it's like a helicopter following him, you know, like that's a cool car. The car is being chased.
Table.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Cody's list. Listener Cody just said Bullet, Ronin, and French Connection.
Well, we might be giving away tables here with the
Well, it doesn't matter if you
thanks
if
for
you don't
coming in, Cody.
if you don't acknowledge that they may be your pick, then nobody will know.
Well, we'll see.
Andrew Chacon also says Ronin, and I like the fact that people are not picking 4. They're just picking either 1, 3, or 2, but never 4.
No one's doing the right mountain.
They were like, your Mount Rushmore is weird, guys. All right, so let's go off and start off with number 4.
With the fourth pick,
Number 4.
Round 4.
I'm in no mood for your wives crack. Let's get it on.
All right, David, what do you got for your number 4, my friend?
So to keep this as on brand as possible, my number 4 is going to be the LA River Chase from Terminator 2.
Nice one.
Yeah. So this is one of those where I was like, okay, well, does this really count as a car chase? Because you've got a dirt bike, you've got a Harley Davidson Fat Boy motorcycle, and you've got a tanker. You've got an 18-wheeler. So does this technically count as a car chase? And what I figured was there's enough wheels on the ground for this to be a car chase. And
I don't remember the 18-wheeler.
Well, that's what the bad guy's driving.
The T1000 is in an 18-wheeler.
That goes off the cliff.
No, the 18-wheeler would include a trailer. There's no trailer.
Oh, he's only in the tanker.
Yeah, he's in 12 then. 12-wheeler. Okay.
He's in this part.
Crazy, my friend. Okay.
This part was missing. He was.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
For the Woobro listener, that's we covered pedantic, the definition of pedantic a couple episodes back.
All right.
Yeah,
Cody is saying that CGI car chases should not count.
Interesting.
And I'm kind of with you.
That impacted my decisions too.
Wow. Okay, interesting. All right. So go ahead.
Yeah, there's something about like seeing these stunts done like live in front of the camera where you know that there's a sense of danger that makes them kind of special. And I always felt that as a kid watching Terminator. You see that jump on the motorcycle and he fucking lands and you see the whole weight of his fucking body and the motorcycle slamming down on the pavement. It's just like, that's a real dude. He just did a real jump. And when he swings around that tanker and I get goosebumps every time picking him up and off the dirt bike and onto the Harley. It's amazing. And the fact that this thing starts on foot, right? Because I mean, really, the chase, if you want to think of it as a chase, begins with the two Terminators stalking Connor in the mall, and it goes from this like really tense, like thriller to this like intense action scene in the blink of an eye, where it's just like explosive. There's all this gunfire, and then all of a sudden, everyone is fucking running for their lives on their fucking motorcycles and just on their way. It's I can't put it any higher than this because as amazing it is, to me it's not what I immediately go to when I think car chase. The three ahead of it are, in my eyes, better, even though they may not be as well crafted and choreographed and all of that. But there is a magic to this one, I think there's not much about Los Angeles that's as iconic as the LA River, and I love it, and it's Terminator. You guys know me, so it's always going to be moved up a notch or two than what it might actually be as far as greatness.
Yeah, I'm with the pick. I like the pick and all, but there's another chase scene that's better in that movie, in that same movie.
Which one?
There's a couple of them. One of them, he leaves a piece of himself in that iconic scene where
that is a good one.
Flicks it off. That's a good one. And then the other one is where at the end, where they end up in that fucking factory or whatever the fuck that is, that welting, that whatever. But that chase scene
smelting.
Pedantic. The word is pedantic.
Don't get mad at people for doing something you do.
I'm not mad. I'm you doing the fucking joke that you just did. Pedantic.
How dare you do the thing that I do? How dare you?
Anyways, that scene included a fucking helicopter crashing into the back of a fucking
the helicopter scene is amazing, and I would say that is a legit car chase scene. I wouldn't include the one where the T-1000 kind of hooks on, because the car chase aspect of it is so short. It's so short. It's really just them in the hospital, which is a great scene. It's fantastic. But the T-1000 chases them in the car for approximately 10 or 15 seconds and done. But yeah, that one towards the end of the movie before they get to the smelting factory.
Yeah.
It's good.
Every little bit counts. You're right.
I do enjoy that you picked that CGI caveat that Cody said. I think if you see in a lot of our choices, inherently that makes it more exciting in the movies that you think where you can see they actually did that shit.
Cody commented that he said the first time he saw Mad Max, he thought that people died filming those scenes.
Yeah, in doing research for this, I found out there was a bunch of movies in like the 80s that they've waited to shoot all of these car chase scenes for the end because they planned just in case to have enough movie in case somebody died. Like, that's how crazy. I'm serious. I swear to God, I forgot what movie it was, but it was it was like a 1980s thing where they're like, okay, we shot them all talking. We have enough to cut it all together, and then we'll just have them drive until they die. Like, that was literally what they planned for.
Wasn't that to Live and Die in LA?
Yes, it was To Live and Die in LA. Or I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Wasn't that called Apocalypse Now?
No, but it basically means that there's like, because they couldn't just CGI shit. They couldn't, like they had to plan for potentially killing people.
Well, William Friedkin, the director, is a fucking madman. He's doesn't follow any of the rules.
All right, so that's number 4 for David. Is Terminator 2. Michael?
I went with a more recent pick. Again, the CGI and the actual driving is kind of like showing itself. I went with Baby Driver.
Oh, that's great. That was an honorable mention for me.
Me too.
Baby Driver, like it's weird to watch it now because of the Kevin Spacey being a rapist, and even the Ansel Elgort guys got accusations now. But there's no denying the choreography of the car chases and the stunt driving is like next level. Like that whole opening first car bank robbery scene is bonkers. Like it's like crafted and choreographed to the music, like edited to match the music, which is like kind of insane. Like you don't realize it unless you're paying attention. You don't realize it's what's going on, but it heightens everything.
And the sound editing Oscar that year.
Yeah, it absolutely deserved it. That movie is so in line with the.
Look at this motherfucker.
What?
Nary. Never mind.
Why, he doesn't like
joke. It's an inside joke. He years ago claimed that sound editing is, quote, a major category in the Oscars. And we're like, we're not saying it's not important. I'm just saying that nobody considers that a major category.
Sound editing is the one that they say this film also won the Oscar for sound editing.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
That's the argument that I was making. He's bringing up a running joke that hasn't ran for 3 or 4 years, but yeah, it was like
that's like you and me.
But
it's only been 12 months. sir. It's only been 12 months.
But the truth is, but regardless of your inside jokes, the Baby Driver is good. I love Jamie Foxx in it. I love it's got multiple really, really good car action sequences, let alone car chase sequences. But that opening scene is like it's like, oh shit, this is, like if you put the remote down kind of thing, where it's just like, oh, okay, let me put my phone down, let me pay attention. There's something
I
very
did not do that.
I loved it, man. It was great.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
And
I love this pick.
And because they did kind of like, it was more recent and they had the option to do effects, they chose not to do real driving. Like they just did real driving when they have the tools to do. Edgar Wright has, the access to do it shit a lot more, with green screen and stuff, and he just didn't. He just did everything.
Imagine if they would have added CGI, they would have won the most coveted Oscar, video editing, as well.
Yeah,
so that's a shame that they didn't.
That's how Suicide Squad is an Oscar winner, sir.
It's true
because of
visual effects.
Video editing,
of special effects.
Oh, because of that goddamn singer lady.
What?
The singer lady?
The singer that she's a singer in real life, and she was a shitty actress witch lady in Suicide Squad.
Cara Delevingne, she's a model.
She's a model. She's an actress.
She's not a singer?
No.
Pretty sure she's a singer. Look it up.
No, you do that before you say
the
it.
The onus is on you.
Wait,
no.
What?
I don't
You're
have to look up
denying it.
anything.
Wait a minute.
Now I have to look up
The
what
burden
onus
of proof is
No,
on you.
wait a minute.
I'm like, all right, so I got to look that up and the definition of onus.
I also won an Oscar for
not
look,
anus, onus.
I won an Oscar for best makeup for doing that stuff with Chunk in the Goonies. But
Congrats.
Yeah, if you don't believe me, look it up.
Don't want to. You won.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just gonna bank on that forever.
All right, Lou, what's your number 4, man?
Number 4, just I wanna take it seriously from the top. Probably it's the only animated car chase I have, and it is Cars 2 when at the very end when Mater is chasing down the bad guy, getting to the bad guy. No tables? No one's tabling that one.
I never saw Cars 2. Is it worth it?
You missed out. You missed out.
No, it's not worth it.
I saw about 20 minutes of it and checked out.
Was it the last 20 minutes? Because then you were in for a real treat.
Ironically, Cars 3 is actually good.
Cars 3 is phenomenal as well. Phenomenal.
Cars 2.
Cars 2, the reason about this chase is because Mater doesn't know what to do. He has a lot of spy equipment that's been implanted in his make and model, and he masters it in one scene. He's flying through Paris and London and God knows where in Europe, and he masters all this spy technology, and then he saves the day. Mater saves the day.
The character that's voiced by Larry the Cable Guy.
Larry the Cable Guy
saves the day. That's all you need to know, Michael, whether or not you should watch this movie.
Well, I like his character is fine when he's not doing the writing. He's got a unique voice. It's fine, but the point of like, I just love that you went completely. We're like, nah, man, the computer CGI. That's not what makes a good car. And you're like, fuck you. CGI. Not one drop of it was real.
You're like, yeah, Lewis's list. If it wasn't all made by a computer, I don't want it.
So I should take off the Cars 1 scene where he's being chased by the sheriff. I should take that one off.
And take off the planes one too, or whatever.
Oh no, but can't do planes.
But I honestly I can't say that it doesn't make for like good action, because Incredibles 1 and 2 are some of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So like they're action fucking packed. So there's nothing against Cars 2 or whatever. It's just interesting that you chose Cars 2.
Well, it's the best car chase.
Cars 2 is the Thor Dark World of the Pixar universe.
What a sentence that is.
Thor is actually really good. This shit is garbage. It's just so. It's all right. We're gonna move on because I refuse to keep talking about Cars 2.
We got more show to talk about.
Yeah, my number 4 is The Italian Job.
Oh, so good.
Honorable mention.
And I'm assuming you're talking about the remake in this one.
No, the original. 1966. Nah, I'm
You
kidding.
are.
I'm
Okay.
kidding. I'm
I was gonna say
kidding.
I prefer the
Of
1973
course you
Italian
do.
Job movie,
Of course you
but
do.
the car chase is better in the remake.
Listen, if no Italian Job, the one with Marky Mark. Get out of here with that. That movie was dope. It was fun. The car chase was great. The fact that they had little minis Coopers inside a dude's house,
Yeah,
fucking
that was
just
fun.
creative. That's very creative. That's not the random. That's not the very typical like car chase. Look at this car chasing. It, every car chase you have to go like, what can we do differently? And it's very difficult to do a car chasing because there's so many of them throughout cinema that to come up with something completely unique, like having those minis go into somebody's house, I think it's fucking fantastic. It was great, and the whole thing. He was Edward Norton's character's looking at him from the helicopter. There was a fucking truck that blocks the view. Then he goes underneath, and they go into fucking sewers. It's fucking great, man. It's fantastic.
Tube going like that.
Yeah, it's fucking great. So it's a lot of fun. So Italian Job is my number 4. So the number 4s were Terminator 2, not the good one. Not the good scene. Baby Driver, Cars 2, and Italian Job. Why didn't they ever make a sequel to Italian Job? They really should have, right? I mean, it made a lot of money too. I don't understand.
They told that I think it ends in a way that's kind of like, and they lived happily ever after, and that guy went.
Yeah, but it's a bunch of thieves. It's a bunch of thieves. They could have kept making more. I don't understand it.
I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just saying they could just make another movie in the style of like they could make a different heist movie with.
What they did make a sequel to? Cars 2.
And
French Job, right? Could have done that. The French Job,
the English Job,
the German Job. That sounds like an angry fucking angry hand job. The German
job. The German Job is the one you need a safe word for.
All right. So
Haken.
Let's move on to our number 3s.
Round 3.
3 is a magic number. Yes, it is.
All right. Dave, what is your number 3?
All right, so my number 3 is one that has been mentioned in the comments, and it is French Connection, the train chase scene. That is one of those scenes that the very first time I saw it, I stopped what I was doing and I rewatched it because I didn't see French Connection until I had it on DVD. And so I was like, hold the fuck up. I need to watch this whole thing again. And so I watched the whole fucking car chase again, and I was fucking out of my mind, right? So in doing some research about this scene later, I discovered that William Friedkin, right, to go back to him and, To Live and Die in LA, wanted to have even more authenticity than there had been in previous car chases. And so he pulled no permits, he blocked no roadways, and informed no one that they were going to be filming what is, I think, something like 40 blocks in New York City. And so you have Gene Hackman and his stunt driver basically, I mean, they shot this guerrilla style in one afternoon in New York, and they were just like paying cops as they were coming in trying to shut them down, and they were just like, hey, here, go away. And it was okay, sure, whatever you say, buddy. And so when this one guy kind of comes out and refuses to let Gene Hackman come through, and the guy smashes into Hackman's car, that's for real. Every single thing that you see in that car chase is 100% for real. When he's going into oncoming traffic and swinging back around to keep up with that L train, that is for real. And so watching that chase again with that knowledge, makes me tense up every time I watch it. This is very likely, even though I do prefer my number one and my number two, with the knowledge that this was so dangerous while they were filming it. Like it makes my asshole clench up when I watch this scene every time. It's just fucking crazy. Cody just came in and said, filmed in Brooklyn. Check out the people in the background on sidewalks freaking out. Yeah, no one knew what the fuck was going on. They thought it was just some crazy dude driving down the street. And it is really tense because there's the camera isn't sped up to make it seem as if the car is going faster than it is. You really just do have a car traveling about 60 miles an hour trying to keep up with this train. And it does. That's the crazy thing, is it does keep up with this train. Obviously, there's editing involved, but it is absolutely fantastic. If you've never seen The French Connection, you need to watch. I mean, the movie itself is, one of the greatest movies of all time. But on top of that, that scene on its own is just fucking nuts.
Who's driving?
Gene Hackman is
really
the one
driving,
in the car. Well, there's some scenes where he's driving, and then there's others where it's the stunt driver.
Because if I'm Gene Hackman's wife, I am never accepting any excuse for him being late anywhere. If he could really do that in real life, more excuses.
There's shots of from the passenger seat, and you're watching him. There's shots from the back seat, and all the shots that are in the back seat are of the stunt driver. And then anything that you see from the street, anything you see that's from the street where you're going to see his face, that's Gene Hackman again. But it's brilliant editing, and all of the like truly crazy things that you see going on were all shot from the back seat where you're looking over the shoulder of the stunt driver. It's insane. It's one of the greatest action sequences I think of all time.
I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, you should watch it, man. It's so good.
I've only ever seen the car chase because it comes up in like the best car chase scene. This is one of those movies that I was talking about where like people like, oh man, that's the best car chase in hit. And I'm like, that movie didn't really matter to me, because I didn't watch it. It's amazing. I'm not taking anything away from it, but from my choice, it didn't. I saw a bunch of that because my research was like Googling, top car chase movies.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have done like a sequel, like the Italian Connection.
They
English
did. There was a
Connection,
French Connection too.
There's a French
No,
Connection
I'm
too, yeah.
going. It's a callback, guys. It's not a good one, but it's
To
a
the
callback nonetheless.
Well, you got to pick your shots.
Nonetheless, man.
Actually, has a fucking sequel.
And actually, French Connection 2, I think is really good. It's not as good as the original.
Yeah.
But it is really, really good. And
all right.
It's called French cornichon. Those little pickles. The race to get those pickles across France.
Cody brought up another really great point here. They did not get permission from Transit Authority and had to wait for trains to arrive and then chase it to film. So they'd just sit around and wait for these trains.
I mean, it's the New York City subway. I mean, they're getting, it'll be around.
It's going to come every couple minutes. Yeah.
Around. But this is also like
we had to wait a minute and a half. You don't understand, Mike. We had to wait a minute on the train.
No, but it's also like 70s New York where like the cops were already doing, like there was already probably crime actively happening on the streets they were filming on anyway. So who knows?
Cody, you're from Brooklyn, right? Did you happen to watch the filming of this by any chance?
How old is Cody?
Yeah, how old is Cody, dude?
Cody's in his late 40s, I think, maybe early 50s.
Ooh, if he's not, you fucked up.
I did, yeah.
He's like, I'm 27. What's wrong with you?
You look
How
like
could you
shit.
be so cruel?
Cody. All right. Did you get for number 3?
Me? I went with a movie that meant a lot to me, and I watched it a million times, and I love all the chases in it. But Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, great one.
What is it? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the motorcycle chase scene coming out of the castle.
Castle Grunwald
with the tapestries. And then
we have many tapestries.
Yeah. I could
If
quote
you
the
are
whole
a
movie.
Scottish lord, I
I
am Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I could quote the entire movie for you. And then when they stop and they get the car, and then the planes start chasing them, that's a whole other like type of car chase too. But my favorite is the motorcycle chase.
I suddenly
Not the
remembered
tank.
my Charlemagne.
Not the tank is in.
Not the tank and the horse.
Not the
I
tank.
guess 'cause there's no
I mean,
cars
that's
there.
awesome. That's awesome. But
That was my favorite one.
No, for me, the speed of the motorcycles when you're like, and then when he fucking jousts
So
with
not the part where the monkeys come in.
the monkeys.
Yes.
Kid him with the crystal skull.
Get them on the crystal skulls when they're chasing.
No, not when they're swinging through the. No, but there is a boat chase in that movie that is up there too. But this is car
Really
chase.
great.
But that boat chase in Venice is fucking awesome too. That movie has a lot more chases in it than you remember. And they're
the monkey one.
It's fucking good. It's better than the monkey one or the one where the truck hits the tree and goes kink and then just lands in the water gently. Fuck you. So
How
mad.
dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? Cinematic adventure not be realistic.
Yeah, the Jones Last Crusade. All right, man.
Yeah.
Lou, what do you got?
Now I'm gonna take it seriously. By the way, I'm taking the
Cars 3.
No, I don't know if a lot of people saw this
Or
one.
to the Dark World.
I don't know if a lot of people saw this, but it's the opening scene from 6 Underground.
Oh yeah, that's
right, dude. Yeah,
it is one of the dopest car scenes I've ever seen, and the ending of that
very
car
good.
chase is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Like, way to start off a movie.
The ending, you go,
That's not supposed to happen.
Oh,
It's early in the movie.
yeah.
That
6
was
Underground is
enough joking around. That was a good that's a good fucking choice.
Yeah.
That's great.
I
that might
love
be
the car
better
chase.
than I have in my list. That might be better than anything I have on my list. I gotta be honest with you. I'm looking at my list. I'm like, nothing. 6 Underground beats it. All right, good to know.
Yeah, man, 6 Underground, great. It's also a really good movie, David. You should watch it. But that opening car scene is
he won't like that movie.
It's
It's
Fast
almost
and the
Jerry
Furious.
Yeah, no, but it's like the most what's his name? The director.
Ryan Reynolds.
Michael Bay.
It's literally directed by Michael Bay, and it is literally the most Michael Bay-ish movie that Michael Bay has ever made.
But if you want that, that's awesome.
No, but Dave doesn't like that. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't like that stuff.
There's plot to this one. There is plot.
It doesn't matter.
Ryan
he doesn't
Reynolds,
like the crazy
charming.
shots, and he doesn't like the fast pace, and he doesn't like. I'm telling you, Dave's not gonna like it.
Those quick cuts, that shaky cam,
everything done at the right time of the day where the light's just perfect. That magic. I don't know how he gets shooting done because every shot is the fucking light glare. The light glares. David, I love that movie, but David is not. That's not his cup of tea, bro.
Yeah, I just think it's a great car chase. Number 3.
Fantastic. It was a phenomenal car chase scene.
Yeah.
I legitimately don't think I have anything in my list that's better than that. Legitimately, from here, I don't know.
Sorry,
I'm looking at my list. I'm like, I like my list, but not better than that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Missy says, I can't believe how many times Fast and Furious ranks on the internet in best car chase list.
Because the internet is right.
Yeah, the internet is right, I guess. And Andrew says, nice choice. I prefer the truck chase in Raiders. I guess that's
also good, but it's not. That's not the movie that meant. Last Crusade meant more to me, so I'm going to pick anything from Indiana Jones. Last Crusade.
Last Crusade is the best one. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So, Lou, that is a fantastic pick, man.
Thanks.
My
Man.
number, my number 3 is Mission Impossible Fallout. It's technically a car chase because there are cars chasing him. However, he is in a motorcycle, and it is really fantastic. And when you speak, like David was talking about, knowing the fact that it's actually him, like this is actually Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise doesn't fucking have a stunt guy. He doesn't have a stunt double. So this was actually Tom Cruise, and when you know that, you go, wow, that's pretty fucking dangerous. That's pretty careless of the studio to allow fucking to allow that.
He has caveats and all this stuff. Not only that, the stunt coordinators, like the drivers, the guy's like, "Oh, this is super important to get your best guy," and he's like, "Tom Cruise is my best guy."
Yeah.
Like he's literally the.
Also, he's
like,
really good at stunts.
Yeah,
he's the guy. Well, just even for the driving and like cars and motorcycle, like like he's like the best of that crew. He's like, oh, we can't have Tom do it. We got because it's too dangerous. We need your best guy to do it. And he's like, Tom is my best guy. It happened I was something going around for this movie for Fallout because he got hurt during this movie. He broke his leg.
Is that because they hire bad stunt drivers, or he's just a dope ass stunt driver?
He's super fucking good.
He's like the dude that he could probably be a fighter pilot in Top Gun if they just let him figure it out. Like he's one of those dudes that he has learned to do everything on his movies to the point where, like we were talking about earlier, Jack Reacher, he's doing all of the driving in that movie too. And like you can see, because even when they crash and all that stuff, the cameras are in the car and they're right on him. Like he's a very, very good stunt driver.
Yeah, so
very,
check
very
this out. This is a picture. I'm gonna post a picture of Tom Cruise. Where is it now? Post a picture of Tom Cruise. This is him filming. I forget which one it was, but it was the one in Dubai. And this is him literally on top of the fucking building in Dubai, and he climbed that. That wasn't part of the movie. That wasn't for the movie. That was just like, I'm gonna climb to the top now. And they fucking did that. And when they asked him, when he was Graham Norton show, and they go, like, did you think about like what if you would have fallen off? Like, you know what I mean? Like that or what if you fall? And he goes, yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. I don't think
you can. You can't think about that shit when you're doing it.
Yeah. So I mean,
but he's that guy. He's that guy. Say whatever his magic Saitai powers give him. He's that guy. He does all of that shit. He's the same guy in every movie. Let's not play around. He's the same guy in every movie. But
I would agree with you. However, there's a couple of exceptions.
Sure. The handful, I would say. Yes.
But the reason I say that is because I just saw one recently. I rewatched it again, War of the Worlds, and I was like, this is not his typical.
No, he's a dick in that movie.
That is different.
He plays somebody different in this movie. Yeah, so
Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, that's true. It's
a small role, but very different.
He throws the phone and goes, find who that was.
Step back and fuck your own face.
He throws the phone and goes, find out who that was. That's part of that whole thing.
God, that movie's so good.
So Mission Impossible Fallout is my pick. That motorcycle scene is fantastic. It's not very long. It's like 2.5 minutes, but it's really fast. And he fucking bike in the scene. There's a car that hits him and he rolls with no helmet on, and I'm like, fuck, dude. I don't. And yeah, again, maybe because I know the fact that he does it himself. Maybe that makes it more impressive to me. I don't know, subconsciously, but it's really fucking impressive. All right, so our number 3s are French Connection. Sorry about that. Hold on. French Connections. Indiana Jones Last Crusade, Six Underground, and Mission Impossible Fallout. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool fucking list right there if you want to be that guy. All right, so let's go on to our number 2s.
Round 2.
Dose, the sequel to Uno.
All right, number 2. Michael, what do you got, man?
Oh, we're not going Dave first?
I'm sorry, Dave. What do you got? Sorry about that. You're right.
I mean, I'm more than willing to let Mike go first, so I struggled with whether or not to put this one on my list because I think it borders on too long. Because it is a rather extended scene. It makes up about like just over 20% of the movie. However, at about 20 minutes long, I think that it's I would still count it as a scene, even if it's a long scene or an extended scene. It is the convoy chase from Mad Max 2, Road Warrior.
Oh, this was an honorable mention for me.
Here's
I pick it out because it is like the whole movie.
That's what I'm saying. Here's my question to you, Dave. Didn't you start off by saying that in your list you didn't want a movie that was basically the whole thing was a chase?
Well, Fury Road, 100%. The whole movie is a chase. But Road Warrior is not that way. Road Warrior, there's a buildup to the chase. The last about 20 minutes of the movie is a car chase. And I feel like that's enough of what I would consider to be just a scene. It is isolated to that scene.
Yeah.
And to that part of the movie. Whereas something like Fury Road, it is one long car chase that's broken up with bits of drama in between. So to me, I feel like that's pretty definitive. That's a scene, even if it is a long scene. And that's why I kind of struggled with whether or not to put this on. And to me, take it or leave it. I love the Mad Max series. Fury Road is my favorite, but I couldn't have put that one on for that reason. If you guys feel like it's too long to have on because it's too long of a scene,
it's your mountain.
I only said that because it was your own rule. Like I only questioned it. I don't care. I mean, I'm also being very pedantic when I say that Fury Road is not 100% a chasing, but I get what you're saying. It's a very long chasing. There's a lot of it. I get what you're saying.
To specify a specific scene, this fits that in the context of like you're like what you said. The second you said build up, I'm like, oh well, yeah, because then it does start. You know what I mean?
But
like
it's your own rule. It's your own rule too. That you put your. I was already asking to say, hey, you made a rule. Are you okay?
On the top, it says Rushmore of movie car chases. It doesn't say Rushmore of movie car chase scenes. You're good, Dave. Own that shit.
That's true. Right.
Stop being a hoe.
When we had
Rushmore of car chases within 15 minutes or less. It doesn't say that either. So yeah, you're good.
So I mean this scene. I saw Road Warrior when I was in high school. And I was probably about 16, 17 years old, rented it on DVD from the Blockbusters, and it was the first one I saw. I actually didn't see the first Mad Max until after I had seen this one, which I think is how most people, at least in the US, were familiarizing themselves with the movies. And I was on board. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I like the violence. You know, this sort of, apocalypse seems dire. I'm in, and it's fucking Mel Gibson. I already knew him from the Lethal Weapon movies. I was on board, and then the fucking chase scene happens, and I was just
tanker truck with the spikes. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy, and fucking everyone dies. Just fucking everyone dies. There's so many things fucking blowing up. Cody mentioned that he thought people died. Bro, the movie came out like 40 years ago. Cody mentioned that he thought people died when they did Mad Max. I legit thought there's one dude in particular that the car hits something and he goes flying and his leg hits a rock and he just goes like ass overhead, like fucking over and over and over again. And I was like, motherfucker's dead. He must be dead. And apparently, if you watch the special features, he did not die, but he was severely injured, like really, really bad. Yeah, he broke his leg in a whole bunch of places. And there were like a ton of injuries on this thing, and they took all sorts of different precautions. But George Miller took what he learned filming the original Mad Max and said, "I'm going to do that better for Road Warrior." And if you watch it, like you can kind of tell after you've seen the movie one time, okay, this is just one big buildup for this car chase. And I'm kind of okay with that because I love this world that Miller creates. Humongous is a fantastic villain, though I don't think he's as good a villain as Toe Cutter is in the first one, or nearly as good a villain as Immortan Joe in the fourth one. But he's a great villain. Vernon Wells as I always forget his name, with the fucking red mohawk.
Those are all iconic images though. Like you don't need to know who those people are, but you'll see, like if you see them, you're like, oh, that, yes, because you see
Yeah.
those images pop up in pop culture later.
Yeah,
The guy
exactly.
with the metal thing with the chains and the Speedo.
There you go.
Like,
That's humongous. Yeah.
Yeah. Like everybody knows that image, whether or not you know the name of it.
Yeah.
And
I mean the chase itself, that you have this whole community coming together to try to save their prospects, to give themselves a fighting chance at survival. And it is something that I think Fury Road took and expanded upon and did even better. But for the sake of what I was looking at for this mountain, this is probably, at least in my opinion, from a technical aspect, I don't know that a single car chase got any better and more like edge of your seat action than this did. Some match it, but I don't know that any have ever surpassed that level of intensity in a single car chase.
Cars 2, the Cars 2 one. Yep.
I'm on board. Lewis might have turned me. I think maybe. Yeah.
All right. Road Warrior. All right. Mike, what do you got for your number 2, man?
Fuck you, Dave. I like Michael Bay. The Rock.
This is a good one. This is one of very few Michael Bay movies I like.
It's literally like the asterisk in his. I don't like Michael Bay except for The Rock. Like that's what
except for The Rock. The Rock.
Yeah.
And the first Transformers. That's it. That's all I give.
The first Transformers I actually really like. The Rock. That chase scene when they steal the Ferrari and the Hummer from when he's getting the haircut.
The Lamborghini,
no, it's a Ferrari.
Oh,
no, it's a yellow Ferrari, and then it's.
Oh, you're right. I'm seeing the circular headlights now.
Yeah.
In my memory.
No, but even then, like because the guy who's cutting his hair, I always found it really funny. Is Anthony Clark? He's a comedian, and he's funny, and then he's like. He's in the elevator and he's freaked out, and after Sean Connery does his badass thing, throws a guy over the whatever, he's like, "Are you happy with your haircut?" And that's very funny. And then cut to them hauling ass. There's a Ferrari involved, a trolley from the San Francisco trolley thing.
That dude, the trolley driver,
yes,
fucking is gold.
He's the best.
Yeah. Like it's just,
save yourselves! Save yourselves! I love it. And then he's driving, and then so they give like this is like one of the first times that you saw like the civilian Humvee, the H1.
Yeah.
I remember Sean Connery driving that truck. I was like, what is that? I want that. And then it was just dope, and it was genuine, like crazy high stakes action car chase, real cars getting blown up, a fucking trolley car getting blown up, and he's at a certain point he's on he hijacks a dirt bike, like it's just like crazy. The peak 90s cop movie, spectacular, explosions destroying half a city block movie.
It's so great. The only reason this didn't make my list, and I'm being completely honest, is because The Rock has made
every list
4 or 5 different lists. It made the Sean Connery list, it made the
Nick Cage list,
it made the Michael Bay, and like it's very like 90 whatever year it came out in, we did that, and it's been so I just wanted to be like, I can't like there's certain movies that even when it make my list again, I literally have to say things like if there's a Rocky, I go, anybody who's listened to the show knows I love Rocky, so this is the reason why. If you want to hear why,
maybe there needs to be like a retired, like a Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
there's like a Hall of Fame that you can't pick.
Yeah,
any of these.
No more Indiana Jones.
No more
Terminator.
No more Rocky.
That would make it really hard. But like The Rock,
but it would diversify.
The Rock and Rocky can't be picked anymore.
Yeah, legitimate. So that's the only reason I didn't pick it, but I was like, man, that's fucking car chases. I love that.
It is. It's a great one.
It's super good. And the suspense behind it is all like it fits into the story, even though like let me try and get away from these people to find my daughter like with a cell phone.
Well, it culminates in such an amazing moment where you see so much about who John Patrick Mason is, and you see who Goodspeed is at the end of that chase, and like they're good guys, like you want to root for them.
Come on, John.
Just
we got to
God-
get back to this. Like, oh, you're working with that? Like they thought, like to make him look good in front of his daughter. That also ends really.
I love when he does that. I love when Nick Cage goes, "Hey, John, just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy."
Thanks, Satan.
It's Satine. All right, The Rock. Luis Diaz. What do you got?
Number 2 is Dukes of Hazzard, the remake with
Johnny Knoxville.
The guy, I don't know their name. Knoxville and the other guy
and Stifler.
Sean William Scott.
Yeah,
but didn't I take you to see this movie?
Yeah, and then after
years
you
ago,
donuts in the El Dorado parking lot.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Wow, that's a Miami fucking story right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had his Mustang. He's like, "Oh, let's go watch this movie about this car, and then I'll do donuts with you in the car after." And it was awesome.
It's nothing like Hispanic guys going to watch a movie with a car that has a Confederate flag, and then go celebrate that with their own fucking donuts in their fucking parking lot. It's awesome.
I think I could get canceled for putting that car chase, but not the last scene. It's like in the middle of the movie where he's getting away from cops, ends up jumping onto the highway. He's like he does a donut around a traffic circle like 4 times. He's driving backwards, forwards. It's just, to me, like I forgot that I watched it with you, Dave, but I guess my heart didn't, because when I was like thinking of car chases, it just came into my heart. I was like, that one's cool as fuck, and I put it as my number 2.
That's a good. I've never seen that movie.
I've never seen that movie.
I don't know if it's worth it.
It did kind of capture the feel of the original TV show. Now, here's the thing: is that you watch things and then like you look back on them with rose-colored glasses. So people watch the film that came out in whatever it was, 2006, 7, whatever it was, and they're like, oh man, it's destroying what Dukes of Hazzard was. But listen, man, you watch Dukes of Hazzard, that shit sucked. All right, but it was fun. But it was fun. It was exactly. You love it. It was fun, but it was not good. All right, and it's the same thing with the movie. You love it. It's fun, but it's not good.
That's what they had Jessica Simpson, right, Lewis?
Yes. Oh, yes.
That was peak Jessica Simpson. That was top level.
The only reason I thought about it, I didn't want to, but I thought about watching that movie was because of Jessica Simpson in those Daisy Dukes, and you go, I'll just get it on the internet. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll just get it.
Yeah, her looking into looking into the engine compartment, bent over, and then she was, I think something bounced up into my undercarriage. That was worth the price of admission.
Oh my God. And also the car chase, right? Yeah,
the car chase. Sure, yeah.
I'm here for the articles. My number 2 is a scene. It was the first time I saw this in a movie, but the movie's called Wanted.
What a fucking awesome movie! I love this movie.
I like this movie too. It's dumb as fuck, but it's great.
It's so good, right? And
Professor X.
It's with what's it called?
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Angelina Jolie and
James McAvoy.
Angelina Jolie. That scene where she spins the car and like he's like crouching and he picks him up. Now that stunt was done again in reverse in the movie Red, which is a phenomenal car chase itself.
Yes,
they did it in reverse where instead of getting the guy in the car, Bruce Willis was in the passenger seat and he got out of the car that way, and it made for like I was just like some fucking just adrenaline pumping scene. I'll go back to Wanted now. So Wanted was great. It's fantastic. A lot of fun. Shooting and fucking bullets bending and all that bullshit. Car ends up flipping on top of a bus sideways, like on a
drives sideways on a bus.
Yes. Well, no. It hits the bus. The bus then drops down on. Then
I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah. One of those is entirely unrealistic. The other
way would be ridiculous.
But this isn't this.
This is a documentary.
This brings up an interesting point, like what we were saying before. This is a gunfight happening around a car chase too.
Yeah.
So it's like it's still a car chase, but there's like an extra element to it.
Yeah, when you were talking about that, I was like, which car chases are not also fights? Because even when there's just car chases, still bumping into each other, right? That's that. I mean, that's
Typically,
still,
yeah.
I mean, I didn't understand that. Like the CGI, I think I can understand that point of view.
I
I
guess
don't agree with it
I'll
necessarily,
tell
but
you
I
what I'm thinking of. I'll tell you the movie I'm thinking of. The Raid 2. Did you see The Raid 2?
you know what? I love the Raid 1, and I tried watching the Raid 2, and I just for some reason didn't hold my attention the way Raid
It's
1.
slower at the beginning, but there's a car chase slash. It's like a raid fight scene happening during a car chase. I was
No,
just
you
watching
fight
Ant-Man and the Wasp. I was just watching Ant-Man and the Wasp for my other show, and there's a whole chase scene through San Francisco, but it's the Wasp kicking ass. When Deadpool fights all those guys at the beginning, like that's a car chase, but he's kicking everybody's ass in the car. You know what I mean? Like it's not just a car chase. There's like other shit going
No,
on.
I get what you're
So
saying.
that's what I meant.
I get what you're saying. I just don't know how that would disqualify or like how make it.
I'm just saying that I didn't put those type of like I excluded those from my mountain because it's not like the pure car chase. It's not like the pure chase.
Well, my number 2 is not a pure car chase, and my number 1 sure as hell is not going to be a pure car chase.
Oh, really?
So, so anyways, so Wanted, fucking fun scene. John McAvoy, what's his name? McAvoy?
James
McAvoy.
James McAvoy plays a great, like he's just taking a shit the entire time. He's like fucking German. He passed out at the end. He just fucking passed out at the end of the car chase scene. He's just fucking he's passed out of fear. It's fantastic. Yeah, and I like that movie a lot. Not unironically. All right, so there's Wanted. All right. Honorable mentions. Dave, what do you got for honorable mentions?
Okay, so the truck chase in Raiders of the Lost Ark. I absolutely love that scene. And Indy being thrown over the front of the truck and being, making his way to the back and dragging. That is one of my favorite moments in movies. But as far as the whole chase goes, I couldn't move it to the mountain. I understand that the protagonist doesn't drive a car in this, but there's a lot of cars chasing him. But the tank, like legit tank chase in GoldenEye, is fucking out of hand.
Yes.
When Bond fucking comes out with a tank, and you're like, oh shit, this is another level of crazy that we just went back to Roger Moore level crazy, but better. You mentioned Baby Driver, so I'll go over that, and I'm gonna go with kicking it really old school here. All right, 1931. All right,
they didn't even have cars back then.
You're so far up your own ass with this one.
Look it up.
Stagecoach with John Wayne. It is not a car, but it's got 4 wheels.
Oh,
all right.
You
The Apache attack at the end of the movie, it's like 7 or 8 minutes of just fucking chaos, and it's amazing. So many stunts going on all at once, and it happens to be a chase with 4 wheels. So it's cool.
Oh my god!
All right, Mike, what do you got?
I got from 1929. No, just kidding. I talked about the Raid 2. Like the first Transporter movie was great and had a bunch of like really good chase scenes with Jason Statham.
Yes, dude.
Yeah. You mentioned that Crank. Let me add Crank in there because there's a couple really cool car chases.
Gone in 60 Seconds has this. It's not like a one particular chase, but there's so much good car action in it. But it wasn't like a pure like a car chase. There was just it was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But it has some of the like my favorite car stunts in movies. And then this is a deep cut one, but there's a movie called The Hunted with Benicio del Toro and Tommy Lee Jones.
Man, you
not
love
the one I was
that
thinking
movie.
of.
Huh?
You love that movie.
But this is what you were talking. I just thought about it when Dave was talking about how you can only make so many car chases. Like that. There's only so many creative things you could do in this movie.
I said that.
You said okay. I'm sorry, Nary. You said that, but it reminded me of this movie because
what's that word you've been saying? Pedantic.
No, well, this
Oh,
is
that's-
different.
that's
This is just him
That's
pointing
not
out that
Okay.
he's not saying I said I used a term incorrectly.
Yeah.
But there's a car chase scene that happens in traffic, and it is gridlock traffic.
Wait,
And
wait. Hold on. Because you started off by saying hunted. Now you're saying traffic.
No, this is a different. It's a
Same
yes.
actor, different movies.
It's very yes. Haha, you got me. Okay.
I'm just asking. I didn't even want to be like,
Yeah.
hey, you said something wrong. I want to be like, which one are you talking about?
It was a car chase in with other cars on the road that are not moving. It's like Rush Hour car chase.
Which
not the movie Rush Hour. It's there's another
The Hunted.
It's called The Hunted, and it changes. Like there's so much suspense in it because you don't know how they're gonna get around, and they like you can't get out of the car because then the other guy starts going, and then the other guy gets back in the car, and it's like this almost like Tetris car chase, and it's like wildly suspenseful in a way that you do. Like I think about it all the time when I think of like a creative car chase. Also, one of the best knife fighting scenes in any movie. If we've
talked about it on Woo Bro a couple of times just because of the knife fighting scene.
Yeah.
Lou, what do you got for your mentions?
All right. Okay, so there's a few Fast and Furious movies on here because of my damn rule.
Do it.
So number one is Fate of the Furious, Fast 8. The very end when they're being chased not only by cars but by shit, my wife's in the frame.
Sure.
That's funny. She's like watching.
That is.
I'm such a dirtbag. I legitimately wanted this. Like I was like, what? What's going on? What's happening?
Back to me. Fate of the Furious. Where they're being chased by cars and a submarine, and there's one part where the submarine shoots a missile at the Rock's car, and he just grabs the missile and turns it towards the bad guy's car, and boom, it explodes on the bad guys, but not him who maneuvered it. So that's a really dope scene. Fast and Furious 5. Fast and Furious 5, where they're lugging the big ass safe through the town and destroying cop cars with the safe.
Is pretty cool.
It's a very good scene.
Which is the one where they're jumping from building to building. I believe it's also in Dubai. They're jumping from building to building to building. They literally went like
that's Fast 6, I think.
Okay.
What's the one where they crash the cars in opposite ends of a highway, and then Vin Diesel meets Michelle Williams, who's about half his size, and they both meet midair and drop as if something like momentum or physics doesn't exist.
And he lands on a car. Fucking that one.
Lands on a car. That's his number one. You just
so Fast 5 was actually my number one until I changed it for another Fast movie that was on my honorable mention, and then finally a non-Fast and Furious movie in my honorable mentions was Baby Driver. I thought that scene was
oh, you had a good one. Okay.
So those other ones are good, but they're also a victim of the CGI, like the unbelievable car chase that we already excluded. You know, it's just a different criteria.
Yeah, you might as well I mean, if you
I'm talking about me and Dave. I'm talking about me and Dave.
And me, because if you're adding those, like I'm all right with having CGI in a car chase, but that's another level. Like having have like a car chase in a Fast and Furious movie, having that on your list, might as well have like the Roadrunner and Coyote when they're running after each other. Like to me, they're both the same level of ridiculousness. In fact, one is even more ridiculous because I'm okay with it happening in a cartoon. Like I'm just like, all right.
Oh, I have one more that I forgot to say. Can I say Ready Player One, the race scene that they
with King Kong at the end? Yeah, that's pretty good.
Where it's
like that.
The Akira cycle, the fucking DeLorean, Bigfoot, bunch of different it's like a that whole movie is basically like a nostalgia jerk off, circle jerk, but like that one was pretty cool.
But it works.
All right, so my honorable mentions, I only have 3, and 2 of them are from the same franchise. So one of them is gonna be
too. The adults are talking now.
You see how I had to like stop myself because I was gonna say something and I was like, no, that's so
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. fuck, and now I just slipped my mind as to which one it was. Right, so I'll give you the two that I remember off the. Oh no, we just saw it before the show started recording. It's in the background of the. If you guys don't know, it's the background, and it's I don't know if I can. Let's see, hold on. I'm gonna remove two of you just to be able to see that. Yeah.
That did
So
not work the way you thought it did.
I didn't at all. Oh, you know how it might work? It might work like this. Oh, can we do that? No. What about this? No. Oh,
Or you could
no?
just say what it was.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyways. Fuck. Help me out here. Spirit of Vengeance is all I remember.
The
Ghost Rider.
Ghost
Ghost
Rider.
Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, which is a horrific movie. Literally might make my mountain of worst movies of all time. Like if we
It's
ever do that,
unwatchable.
it's unfucking watchable. However, there is a pretty fucking cool 5.5 minute fucking car chase scene where Ghost Rider, every car he gets into, the wheels turn into fire. Pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie's hot garbage. And then the other two are, and I don't, Dave is gonna think what he thinks, but the original Transformer highway scene is
No, that's good.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other one of the other three really good Transformers movies, which is Transformers 3, Rise or the Fallen, whatever the fuck it was called, something of the Fallen.
That one is serviceable.
No,
I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Dark of the Moon. I'm sorry.
That's the Mark one.
Dark of the Moon is part 3.
No, Dark of the Moon's part 2.
No, Dark of the Moon.
Oh no, you're right. That is part 3. You're right. My bad.
Yeah. So Dark of the Moon is part 3. That highway scene was also fucking. Oh, just remember the fourth one. The Last Stand, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. At the end of the movie, throughout the whole movie, there's a fucking super fast car, and at the end of the movie, there's two really fucking fast cars. I don't know the make and models. I'm not a car guy, but they are in a cornfield, and it basically becomes a submarine fucking like trying to knock each other out of the picture, and it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, that's a great. The whole movie's fantastic, but that scene in particular is quite good.
Yeah. So that's it. That's my honorable mention. Right. And Chacon had honorable mentions: The Born Supremacy, The Dark Knight. Oof, Dark Knight.
Good. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one too.
The Man with the Gold thing.
That is that stunt where they fucking turn the car, the corkscrew. Oh, so good, so good.
Which movie are we talking about?
The Man with the
Golden Gun.
Oh, okay. All right. I haven't seen it. All right. So on to our number ones.
Round 1. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
Do it! Come on!
All right. What do we got, Dave, for our number 1?
I don't care how predictable it is. I really don't give a fuck if it's the most iconic car chase of all time. This is
Cars 3.
This is the movie and the scene that got me into cars, that made me a Mustang fanatic, that it left such a lasting impression on me when I saw it as a 12 or 13-year-old boy, however old I was in middle school. I came out of my room and my dad was sitting down watching this movie, and I saw Steve McQueen get into a 1967 Ford Mustang, and I was like, oh, what is this? He goes, it's called Bullet. You want to watch? I'm like, yeah. And so I sat down and I watched this movie, and about 20 or 30 minutes later, he kind of caught me up to speed with what was going on. 20 or 30 minutes later, there's a black Dodge Charger who's coming up behind him, and I'm like, oh, shit's about to go down, right? And he's like, just watch, right? And there's this like great jazzy music going on. I'm like, all right, I can get into this, right? The guys in the back in the fucking Dodge Charger are putting on their seatbelt, right? And they're coming up behind him. Shit's gonna happen, right? And then all of a sudden, because Steve McQueen knows San Francisco better than anyone does, he does some weird shit. Now he's behind the other guys, and the chase has already started, and you don't even know it. And then when the guys in the Charger finally fucking step on the accelerator, they just fucking take off, man. And for 10 minutes, straight 10 minutes, it is non-stop. And there's like and it's all for fucking real. There's no fucking permits pulled, just like in what is this? The French Connection. It was all authentic. Their cars fucking crashing into one another. It was all shot at speed. Apparently, they were going at some points over 100 miles an hour. And again, cameras not sped up. These are just stunt drivers doing their thing. And because Steve McQueen got his start in Hollywood as a stuntman and a stunt driver, he did all his own driving. So whenever you look at that Mustang doing all these crazy fucking jumps and drifting and all that stuff, that's him in the car doing it. And like he even picked out the car for the movie. Like they told him, all right, you do whatever you want. This is your movie. And so he went, he got the car, and he even started kicking the car to put dents in it because he wanted it to feel like a real lived-in car. And the car itself is kind of like a character in the movie. You know, it's such an amazing piece of film history. You know, this movie comes out in 1968, and you have car chases before that. You know, you've got, you know, the James Bond series. You've got a couple car chases here and there, and like gangster movies in the 1930s and the 1940s, but they're really vehicles for other violence. Like you were talking about, Mike. Yeah, like gunfighting, gunplay, stuff like that. It's not about the chase. And that doesn't really happen where you start getting real intense action scenes, choreographed car chases until this movie. This is the movie that changed it all.
Yeah, it started what all of those 60s and 70s movies of tire squeal festivals.
Yeah.
Where it's just like tire squeal montages where they're just constantly like turning corners, burning out, all that stuff that's terrible for your tires,
right?
And bad handling, but it looks so good on film. But yeah, this movie is fucking good choice.
Well, and you mentioned, Neri, I can't remember which movie it was you were talking about earlier, where like the music just cuts out and all you hear is the roar of the engine, the squeal of the tires. What was that?
Jack Reacher.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, you know, that happens in this movie where there's this like up-tempo jazz going on, and you know, it's kind of getting you in this groove where, you know, these guys are kind of just lackadaisically following the roads in San Francisco until they're not. When that guy slams on the pedal and you hear the roar of that Challenger, and then the Mustang takes off or Charger, not a Challenger. Yeah. The Mustang takes off right behind it. The music cuts out, and all you hear for 10 minutes is just the roar of V8 American muscle, and it's fantastic. I will.
Wasn't it where they started mounting the cameras to the side of the car too? Like that was like one of the first times they did that.
I think so.
It had to do a lot also because the cameras were small enough to be like really in the action for the car, and shooting at a lower angle made it like super intense. It changed, like the way they shot it also made it seem even more dangerous, you know?
Yeah. Well, it kind of like French Connection. There's cameras inside, like just a camera guy with like a handheld camera in the car. You know, and so there's one shot in particular where he's, you know, the camera is in the back seat of the Charger, and it's looking over the shoulders of the two hitmen who are in the Charger, and all of a sudden Steve McQueen shows up behind them. He's somehow or another, you know, fooled them into having him be behind them, and they know that shit's gonna get bad now. And so the camera zooms in on their rear view mirror. And it's this like just so fucking cool thing that they do really cool stuff with the camera. And then they also, there's not a lot of fancy camera work going on outside of that. So it's a lot of just, there's a camera on the street and we're going to pan and watch the cars go by, you know, or we're just going to sit here and watch the cars come in and out of the screen. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You don't need that shaky cam, Michael Bay stuff, though it does work in The Rock. You know, number one with a bullet. All
right.
Wait, what was Dave's number one? He cut out. I missed it. Can you repeat all that?
Dave is the only one of us that runs a light. All right. Mike, what do you got for your number one?
This was hard, but I picked The Bourne Identity.
Oh, that's a great one.
The mini chase scene through Paris is one of my favorite. Like, I can watch this. This whole movie is great to me. I love this movie. Matt Damon being this super spy, like all what the intro, like before all the rest of them, because I know the Bourne Supremacy actually has a really, really good car chase too.
They all do, really.
They all have amazing action in it. But the introduction of this movie, where all of a sudden you're like, it just felt real. It just felt very visceral. Like the hits felt for real. The car chase felt for real. And so for me, it was between this one or Ronin. And this one is the movie I come back to. I would rather watch this movie than Ronin. I
haven't seen Ronin.
It's great, but it's like the car chases where you're like, that's what I came to see, and that's it. Then with Bourne Identity, I like watching the whole story unfold and all that stuff. And then in the beginning of the action, where like, there's still so much mystery going on. There's the relationship between the Jason Bourne and the girl, the German girl, I forget her name, but she's also a really great German actress. Yeah. It's like in Paris, in this like old school mini, and they're just going downstairs and hauling ass and pulling super hard J turns and just very visceral, real, like hard hitting car chase stuff. It's one of my favorite like visual scenes involving a car chase in a movie that I also really love. So
Franca Potente.
Yeah, Franca. Yeah, Franca Potente.
Yeah, she was the one from Run Lola Run.
Yeah, she's great.
That movie's fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, the Bourne Identity, the first one, like I wish I could go back and watch that movie for the first time again. That's one of those movies that I like.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
That movie was ruined for me because I saw it when it first came out in theaters, but we were late and it was before reserved seating was a thing. And I sat like in the fucking front, and I remember looking at the fucking screen, and there's so quick cuts and there's so much action, and I'm like, what's going on? And I legitimately didn't know what the fuck was happening during the tastes. It wasn't until months later, because back then you had to wait months. You had to wait months for it to come out on fucking VHS or DVD.
Yeah. And
I remember it wasn't until months later where I'm like, is that what I was fucking watching during my fucking seizure that I was about to have? Like, it was just so many. What's happening? And then you hear and like somebody crash. You're like, who fucking crashed? Like, I didn't know what. It was so fucking like, it was really.
Yeah.
Movie theaters weren't really designed well back then. Been like in 2004.
They were just trying to cram as many people in, and then so like they didn't really care that you're like looking up at an angle where everything is like spread out, like at your point perspective.
Yeah,
it's like that thing is way. That top left corner is so much further away than that bottom right, and you're
we made a joke. My friends and I made the joke when we were Jurassic Park in theaters. Not Jurassic Park. It was like, I think it was Jurassic Park 3 or some shit. I don't remember which one it was. But we made the joke because remember when they had the fucking wings, when it wasn't just straightforward, when you would have like the movie theaters and so we were sitting in the wing and we're like, if something happens on this side of the screen, we're gonna see it first. Like that's how like that's how bad it was.
That's true.
But so I wish I could see the Bourne Identity again for the first time, just so I could tell myself, don't sit in the fucking front.
I guess you could say that's my criteria for every mountain. On my mountains, there's always something that I wish I could experience for the first time again, like have that discovery again. Like that's kind of, I guess you could say that for all of, like, to watch The Rock again for the first time as like a kid in the movie theater, that I just skipped. I theater hopped to get to the movie theater, and I was excited. Oh, we're gonna sneak into The Rock, and we watched it, and it was like to have those experiences again. For the Bourne Identity, I've watched that movie probably like 100 times. I love that movie.
Yeah,
it's a great one.
It's been in about 100 different Geekmore episodes, so it's featured heavily on this podcast. Lewis, what do you got for your number one?
All right, so originally I had the Fast 5 chase as my number one with the big safe, but then just going with my heart, I went with the most outlandish chase they ever had. And it was in the very next movie. It was Fast and Furious 6. At the very end of the movie, they're chasing a plane down a runway. Now,
Oh, the runway that never ends. Yeah, I've seen this.
I had to look it up because the scene is 14 minutes long. They're going about 70, 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. They're following a plane. And so the math is, someone actually sat down and did the math. The runway for this scene to happen needs to be at least 26 miles long.
Yes.
And it is the longest. Because I remember watching it, and I remember halfway through that chase scene, I'm like, fuck, are they still in the airport, or did they get on a highway? And
like, that's actually at Miami International Airport. That's what happens when you go from gate D to gate B. You have 26 miles, and be like, oh fuck, here we go again. Like, oh, they moved their flight. Oh fuck,
that's an international airport because the runway spans 2 countries.
I love the car scene. It is also a good chase scene if you're an asshole like me that likes the Fast and Furious movies. It's got the fights. It's got the
actually, if you get over the fact that runway is absurdly long, that chase scene is actually really good. Like, legitimately, it's like it has all the action. To me, aside from the fact that again it has to be 26 miles long, aside from that, I don't recall anything absurdly ridiculous where you go, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't. That's how I watch those movies. I say get the fuck out of here whenever I've watched any Fast and the Furious movies, which, by the way, for a long time I didn't watch anything. I watched part 1, and then I went without watching 1 for a long time, and then The Rock came into that franchise, and I'm like, well, I guess now I gotta fucking watch these movies. And I'm one of those. But that's me watching those movies. Is like, get the fuck out of oh, fuck you. Like, that's me yelling at the screen.
But you like Wanted. Got it.
Yeah.
Good point.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine.
Well, I think it's because Fast and the Furious started as a bunch of street racers, and then they turned into the fucking Avengers. You know, like
the part 1 was them stealing DVD VHS combo players from fucking trucks. That was the premise from part 1. Why the fuck would the FBI be involved in that? Beyond whatever, whatever.
Because he were also boosting cars.
Right.
Come on, man. Did you not pay attention?
But I don't know if that's a federal thing. Boosting cars.
It is if the cars cross state lines.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. So
no, but then they turn it now. Then they all have superpowers.
Right now they have.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Bending bullets for me way more believable than Vin Diesel being an actor. So I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's way more believable. I'd rather watch.
Room. Yeah. Except Boiler Room. He's good in Boiler Room.
And the Iron Giant.
I'm at a part.
And the pacifier.
Oh, yes. Yes, you can't forget the pacifier with the turtle and the rolling and the jump, the little dance.
Awesome movie. I'm going to put that one in my...
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Yeah. But I like that scene is what I'm trying to get to. That airport scene, I'm actually okay with that.
That's
airport.
Good.
Yeah, and Gal Gadot dies, which sucks, but you know.
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah, Wonder Woman. All right. So my number 1, get ready, CGI fanatics. Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, that was gonna be honorable mentions. I forgot to say it.
Why did you say that name?
It's the only good part about that movie. Matrix Reloaded sucked. It was very difficult.
Awful.
I tried to rewatch it like 6 months ago, and I'm like, holy fuck, I can't watch this movie. Like, I couldn't even get to the fucking highway scene. I was like, okay, I remember the highway scene being good. Let's just fucking get to the highway scene, and I couldn't get to that part of the movie. But it's a very good fucking highway scene. It's a very good car chase scene. It's fucking cool as shit. It has motorcycles in it. I'm a big fan of the fucking. You know which one else? Now I'm thinking about it. Honorable mention to shout out to fucking Age of Ultron. That chase was fucking dope too, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, going back to my actual number 1. Yeah, man, it had a lot. It had Morpheus stepping on a sword that he fucking stabbed the truck on. I mean, that's fucking crazy bananas. It was pretty fucking fun, man. It was crazy. That cars going the wrong way, motorcycles going against traffic on a highway. That's pretty fucking crazy. So it was a lot of fun.
Jada Pinkett Smith and pulling up right at the right time so that he could fall on it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Great. It was.
Did you rewatch this today by any chance?
It had the albino twins, the albino dreadlock twins.
That's right. That blew up.
And the CG just doesn't hold up though.
Oh man, no, not at all. Not even close. But that's the thing is that, look, if we can watch an airplane, a submarine chase a bunch of cars, like it doesn't matter. Like at that point, you're already suspending disbelief. It's the Matrix movies, it's the Matrix movies. So
when I watch the original Superman, I don't really think a man is flying, but I'm okay with it. I'll keep fucking watching it. I don't need the CGI to hold up. I really don't need the CGI to hold up.
Not always.
I want the CGI to be good when the movie comes out. But if I'm watching a movie that's 10, 15, 20 plus years old and the CGI quote doesn't hold up, it doesn't ruin it for me. That movie, that's a 90s CGI. What are you gonna fucking do,
I guess since I hate this movie so much, I just like any little thing about it pisses me off.
I actually like this movie. There's parts of it that I enjoy. When you step back from it.
This is the part that I enjoy.
No, I like the fight in the villa in the mountains. That fight with all the weapons on the wall. That's this one, right?
But I'm telling you, I tried. I couldn't get through 20 minutes of it 6 months ago.
I never seen it.
I couldn't get 20. You're fine, Lou. You're not missing shit. You're fine.
There's some cool stuff in it, but you could go on YouTube and just
Google. Watch the first one, man.
Yeah, but you could Google the Matrix Reload, like Matrix sequel best parts, and then someone will have cut the best parts in.
Do they ever beat the Matrix?
No, they end up the real lesson was the Matrix they built along the way, or whatever I forgot what
the message was. What was the message? I didn't even remember because the movie was so bad.
That they have to learn to work together again so that they can both thrive. Otherwise, the bad programs and the bad people will take over. So the good people and the good robots will work together. They come to a truce with they take Neo and they plug him into the computer.
Hi, Lewis. All right.
It's like
I'll just stick to Cars 2, guys.
Yeah.
You know what? Stick to Fast and Furious. To be honest with you, I'd rather be forced to watch a Fast and the Furious movie than be forced to watch fucking Matrix Reloaded, or third part, whatever the fuck that one was. All right, so that's my list. Matrix Reloaded had a great scene, car chase scene, and everything else, in my opinion. But all right, so we have.
That was your number one, huh? The top of that mountain was the Matrix Reloaded.
It was really good. It was a
number one.
Hey, I acknowledged when Lewis mentioned 6 Underground that nothing on my list was better than that pick.
That's true.
And to be fair, I haven't seen Bullet, so I'm gonna give that as an exception. But to be fair, nobody else's picks was better than fucking 6 Underground. That scene in 6 Underground was that fucking great.
Yeah.
But you also said you hadn't seen French Connection.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that though. I'm fine with the statement.
Those are those movies are also from a very different time. The parts that are not action are very slow.
Which is the movie? Yeah, which is the movie that this dude made? I think it's the same dude that made Bullet. That he got out of, that he was in jail, and his wife got him out of jail, and then he had
Steve McQueen?
Yeah, it was Steve. I think it was Steve McQueen.
The Great Escape. That's not.
I mean, the Great Escape. He's in a Nazi camp.
No. There was a movie where the guy was in jail, right? He went to jail. His wife got him out of jail by, I believe they alluded to, she fucked the mayor or some shit, or the fucking what someone call it. And then they got him out of jail, and then he went to do a bank heist, and he was in one of those fucking fast.
Oh, The Getaway.
A Getaway.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I've seen that movie.
That's got a good car chase in it too.
Yeah, I've seen that movie. So I feel see that movie, I'm like, I get it. The 70s car chase scenes, I get the whole point. Yeah. So you said we're Fast 6, right, Lewis?
Yeah, Fast 6, mate.
All right. There is 0 repeats. We have 0 tables, and when this happens, ours become the mountain. So unfortunately, Fast and Furious 6 will have made the mountain.
Let's
my god!
If you want, all right. If you want, you can make it Fast 5 instead.
All right. So Fast.
That's not better.
I'm kidding.
No, that wasn't your pick.
I was gonna say 6 Underground can be moved up.
No,
if you don't want Fast 6.
No, so this is an established rule.
Yeah, we're not building an actual mountain, so it's not like, hey, we're gonna send our guys to fucking with dynamite. Like I need to do it.
What the fuck are we doing here?
I like Lewis. Then why the fuck am I even on here? Bullet, Born Identity, Fast 6, and Matrix Reloaded. So
Matrix Reloaded made the mountain.
Matrix Reloaded. That fucking. I'm sorry, that highway scene. I stand by that. That highway scene
You're
was
not
fucking
wrong.
great.
I'm just shocked at how that is.
That highway scene is better than anything else I got on my mountain. It's not better than 600
This might be the weakest final mountain we've had in a long time.
Guys, we can add cars too if you need to.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, maybe.
Dave? Have you seen the fucking the highway scene recently? I mean, it's really good. I just watched it today. I thought it was fucking a lot of fun.
I love it. I love it. But as a whole, to hear the phrase,
but here's the thing, though, and here's the thing. Remember, I told you, there was a part of me on my list that I want to. The thought to myself, pick the worst movies with the greatest fucking car chases. I wanted to go out of my way, and I just couldn't because I was like, all right, but this one's actually a good movie, and that was actually a good movie. But I legitimately with Wanted and Matrix Reloaded, I was like, I may have a chance of picking legitimately bad movies with really good car chases.
See, I disagree. I think Wanted is a legitimately good movie.
No, I think it's a fun movie. I don't think it's a good movie.
No, I think its premise is good. I think the acting is at least serviceable.
Okay,
the special effects are good.
The Loom of Fate.
Yeah, I love that. That's fantastic.
Also, I love the fact that you're like, no, this is a good movie. The acting is at least serviceable.
Well, it's one aspect of the movie. It's one aspect of the movie.
In David's defense, the most important,
right? It's a pretty big aspect.
The most important aspect, the sound editing, is superb.
I mean, it's great.
You got me there. You got me there. Yeah, like I said, like I legitimately love Wanted, but I love Wanted the way I love, like, you know what I mean? Like I love Wanted like I love fucking a greasy cheeseburger where I'm like, this isn't good for me, but fuck, it's good. You know what I mean? Like that's how I like Wanted.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a good movie, but fuck, it's fun. It is fun.
You like fucking a greasy cheeseburger. I can't say I've ever done that. I'm assuming the grease is good, you know.
Next week on Mt.Geekmore, the top the Mount Rushmore of hamburgers you want to fuck.
We're going Baconator, guys. Going Baconator.
Not on the list. Jalapeno.
Now we got to debate spicy chicken sandwich. Does that count as a burger?
He's got kind of a burger.
Does it have McDonald's special sauce? I don't think so.
The Big Mac has another piece of bread that counts as 2 burgers to fuck.
I'm fucking a McRib because it fucking feels like I'm fucking a rib.
And it's for a limited time only. You can only fuck a McRib once or twice a year.
I just had a fucking a Shamrock Shake the other day.
You can fuck a Shamrock Shake once a year.
How are they?
It's just
not good.
It's just minty. It's a minty milkshake.
How does your dick feel? I'm talking about when you fuck them. How does your dick feel minty?
Oh, it's minty. It feels tingly. It's like that pop rock sensation.
So fresh and so clean.
You ever got a blowjob with someone who used a breath strip?
I like when they get the Listerine spray and like that.
The spray Banaka on me.
I like it. I like it when they spray it right on it. Like
hurt so good.
Chemical burns on my dick. Guys, the Mount Rushmore of movie car chases.
Mount Rushmore of movie car chases. It's Bullet, Born Identity, Fast and Furious 6, and Matrix Reloaded. All right, thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you check out Mike's other podcast on the Missing Sock Network.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right.
Mike at Contextualizes on Twitter, and you can follow me at Mike Mercadal on everything.
Yeah. So check out Lou. Lou has a great podcast called On the Bathroom Wall with a dear friend and great comedian Ricky Cruz. So make sure you guys check that out. I've invited them to be on the Geek Bro Network, but I've gotten radio silence from them. So I guess that's my answer. But check them out on the Helian Podcast Network at helianpresents.com. They're a fantastic podcast. They're really funny. And they not just coming from me as a host, but Daniel DeBona, who's also on this podcast normally, he also stated that he genuinely loved that podcast. So it's really, so check it out. And then check out the other podcast, the What's Up Bro podcast, which right now, at the time of this recording, you can't listen to on the audio version. Mike, I haven't even told you this. Got a letter from Podbean saying that they got a letter from the Recording Institute of America that we're in violation, yet they don't tell me which fucking track, which episode is in violation. So I can't do shit. So we're off of the audio. We're off of Podbean right now.
What happened?
And so that we're apparently in violation of something of fucking for the recording.
Okay, who knows? Wow.
Why didn't you tell me this before I started recording? I am now consorting with known criminals.
But that's only for Woo Bro. That's not for Geekmore. It's different. It's two different things.
Oh yeah. That's how it works.
It's guilty by association, buddy.
Yes.
It's literally how it works.
We're aiding and abetting a crime right here with this podcast.
No. Well, that's a different part. I don't know. I said that earlier twice now, but it's a different podcast. It's actually different. So make sure you guys check out the other podcast on the Geek Bro Network, including the What's Up Bro podcast, including Better Let Me Tell You, A Dose of Ellie, and Child Like at Best with Mike Valdez. So check that out. Go to geekbro.net. Check out those podcasts. Thank you very much for checking in, and that's how lists are made. Mm.